The world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change.
The suicide rate for teens is
this
up
morning, chilling
28%.
images and 911 calls from
5 deaths a
So our
day.
kids are facing pressures like never before.
Stating the impact.
Us young people for hope.
Being a teenager in 2020 is complicated.
Being a teenager in 2020 is unusual.
Being a teenager in 2020 is intense.
Inconsistent.
Being a teenager in 2020 is very fun.
Being a teenager in 2020 is exciting.
Awesome.
Being a teenager in 2020 is extraordinary. Extraordinary means remarkable, and remarkable means worthy of attention. This generation is so worthy of attention, yet I find it so hard to speak up because we are so often labeled as immature. It's hard enough as it is to speak up, and even hard to do so in a society that doesn't believe you can.
Being a teenager in 2020 is daunting because we're expected to do so much, but as soon as we take a change or want to make a difference, we're always discredited for being too young or too inexperienced.
Being a teenager in 2020 feels stressful.
Being a high schooler is pretty hard because every decision that you're making right now pretty much molds and shapes your future.
It's like we've worked all these years to build our future, and like now it's finally here, and we don't really know what's gonna happen, but it's gonna be like the decade where we determine like our jobs, like who we're with, like what we do for the rest of our lives.
Being a teen in 2020 is very difficult because college is harder than ever to get into, and it's also way more expensive than it was back when our parents went.
Being a teen in 2020, I feel is pretty competitive because if you don't have like the best grades, if you're not the best at sports, if you're not the best at something,
Then it kind of feels like it's not enough, so.
a lot of people expect people to go to college and pursue a career after that, but that's just really not me. It's really nerve-wracking because I see all my friends going to college and whatever, and they look at me like, what are you doing? Why are you not going to college?
Society glorifies one route to success that isn't necessarily what I want for my life.
We have to be twice as cautious about where we are in our surroundings because of how dangerous the world is.
Every single time like a fire alarm gets pulled, I think it's a school shooter, or like if I'm in a public place, like I think something bad is going to happen just because of like things that have happened recently. So yeah, I think it can be scary.
It seems like nobody really cares about like anything anymore. Like, I don't know, I go to classes and everybody's just kind of sitting there waiting for the period to be over. Nobody's really shocked by anything anymore because we've seen everything online. Like, not that we've experienced everything, but nothing really impresses people anymore.
I feel like teenagers in 2020 have been desensitized to violence since we've seen it so much in video games and movie and the media since a young age.
Being a teenager in 2020 feels
Rushed.
crazy, fast. Trends change quickly, styles change quickly, information moves really fast.
I wish I had more time to enjoy my friends and life at a slower pace, but nowadays kids are being pulled in so many different directions that childhood years seem to be a lot more work and a lot less play.
And so we're hearing a lot of stuff in the media about like what's going on like in the world, but then we're also trying to live as like a child still and be in high school and live recklessly, so it's crazy.
Everybody's connected through their phones, which makes it harder for face-to-face interactions.
Many people think that what they look like online is more important than what they have to offer to the world.
There's always like a lot of information just due to the internet and it's so accessible. So you never really know like what's real and what to pick out since all these sources are so biased.
There's no more joy in the little simple things. It's more about your social media following and what impression you give off on social media, and I think that a lot of the connections aren't as genuine anymore.
Nowadays, society puts this pressure on us that makes us feel the need to have a perfect image or brand for college or social media or just to be accepted, when in reality we're far from perfect.
The people on the internet are fake. You're just always being watched, and that like affects what you put out.
Because of social media, teenagers feel like they have to live up to a certain lifestyle that isn't obtainable for everyone.
A lot of times teenagers are just overlooked or just looked at in a poor light because of all of the resources and things that we have and the way that we are using those things, such as social media, and a lot of adults just don't understand it, so a lot of times it is looked down upon or looked badly at.
Being a teen in 2020 is bittersweet because, well, bitter because of all the social stresses and pressures that are put on us because of social media, and sweet because of all the interconnectedness we get between each other.
For my word, I'm gonna say taco, because you know at times it can get pretty messy. You know, you got a lot going on, sometimes stuff's falling out of the back, but you know, at the end of the day, it's still good.
Being a teenager in 2020 is a blessing. With all the different things that we have at our fingertips, whether it be our phone or the devices that we're given at school, we're able to really just see all the information that's coming from around the world and be able to have a voice. I just think that we've been given so many gifts, and we have so much and so many opportunities in today's society that we might not have in previous times, that I really think that it's just a blessing to be where we are at the age that we're at.
Being a teenager in 2020 is really exciting. For me, I feel really fortunate that I was born during this time, because if I was born any other time in history, I probably wouldn't have made it to this point. I really require like deep medical care, and I wouldn't have received that in any other time or place even. And I'm excited to see what the future has to bring.
I feel like our generation, as of right now, think they have to know what purpose they have in life, but in reality, we have so much time to find it.
A lot of students, I feel like, are compelled to live in the future or the past, and I think making memories now and living in the present is the most important.
Being a teen in 2020 is empowering because teens have a greater voice than they ever have before. People have come together, and there have been so many movements, and there's so many avenues for your voice to be heard.
Being a teenager in 2020 is the best time to be alive.